Hi, this is Ragamani. I'm a management coach and a trainer. In this video, we'll be seeing about inventory management and its relevant details. I recommend how this is being managed and what is the purpose we have to manage inventory and what are the other prerequisites which we have to carry out during this what is the entire supply chain management activity. So let us get into the session. Definition of inventory is inventories means the stock of the product of a company and the components thereof makes the product and includes raw materials, work in progress and finished goods. So there are three types of there. One is raw material and work in progress and finished goods, which we will see it later. It is a physical stock of the items on a business or a production organization kept in hand for the efficient running of the business. So the inventory is basically the thing is the materials kept in stock that may be in the racks in the due care is being taken care. Apart from that, very important thing is the particular raw material or the processing required material or the maintenance spares, everything should be kept in stock because the key requirement is when we want to have manufacturing to be done, that time the material should not be out of stock. So when the material is not available, what are the consequences? When the material is not available, the production cannot happen. So that is one thing. And that is a primary thing. Second thing, what happens? The associated issues. What happens is the machineries or the equipment is kept idle. Point number one. The point number two is also very importantly the manpower related to that machineries is also kept idle. So ultimately there is a big loss happens there because of what is say stock out situation of there. So the inventory has to be there in the stock is very important thing. But what is the thing is to what extent we have to maintain, whether it should be in the higher side or whether it should be in the lower side or both is not there. It should be optimized and should be the at the what is say the average level where the stock out situation should not happen. At the same time, also the thing is it should not be overstock. Why? What happens if we have overstock? If we have overstock, then what happens is there is a cost associated with this. Because why this cost associated with this? This cost is called as inventory carrying cost. And why this cost is associated is because, see, for example, if you keep the material in a warehouse or if you keep it in a stores department, so there are some few infrastructure related things are there. And second thing, we need a resource, that is manpower. For example, if you take a store means a storekeeper is should be there. In a warehouse means warehouse manager, what is say executives, pickup boys, packing boys. So a lot of people are there in the thing. So these are the costs which is associated to that where the product is being stored. So that means it should be optimized in such a way that it should not be overstored. In simple terms, it should not be understored. Okay. So let's get into the next part of it. Classification of inventory is raw material one, then second thing is in process inventory, third is indirect inventory. So the raw material inventory is the thing what the inventory the raw material is being purchased by the procurement team and arrives the plant. So once it arrives the plant, a appropriate what is say codification is given for further trackability of the material. Then it is being put it in the particular rack. Why the tracking is required in the raw material? Because I am taking a batch. A batch reference is very important. I take a batch of raw material. If I don't give a codification for that batch or identification for that batch, and it is getting converted into product and the product goes to the customer. So, okay, when the customer is having some issue, he is telling there is a problem in the supplies of the product which we are given. When you want to trace it backward, we have to do that from the material to production, then to raw material. So definitely we should know that which bag we are used and which what is that that reference detail is required to trace it out because when we are what is say informing your raw material supplier, then raw material supplier should be able to see that which batch is produced, which shift is produced, which was their operator that used. So all that can be tracked. Okay, that is the thing. Second thing is in process inventory. Here the in process inventory is nothing but once raw material is available and based on the demand. Okay, I repeat, based on the demand from the customer. Okay, then a work order is being generated from the production planning department. Once the work order is being generated, against that the manufacturing or the production departments take the raw material from the stores giving a requirement called as requisition slip. So based on that, manufacturing team or the production team takes material for the further processing and it processes it. And here that from the raw material to the product, it get the conversion happens sometime in a single stage, sometime it happens in multiple stages. Okay, when it comes to multiple stages, when we say it is two-stage process to convert as a raw material to the product, or sometimes it goes to 5 stages, or sometimes it goes to 7 stages. It depends upon the product and product requirement and characteristics. So in this case, what happens? The items or the product, particularly semi-finished products here. When you say in process, it is a semi-finished product which lies between the stage 1 to stage 2 or stage 2 to stage 3 or from stage 3 to stage 4. So in between what are getting piled up, that is called as in process inventory. And third one is indirect inventory. So here when you say indirect inventory, it is basically the inventory of indirect consumables like packing materials and other things where used it is not a part of the manufacturing or conversion process, but it is required for the packing and other materials required. So items which are not directly related to the manufacturing and is being we are getting the material inside the plant, so it is called as indirect inventory. So two forms of demand, that is a dependent one thing, and then is independent. When you say dependent, here the demand for the items used to produce the final products, okay, and stored in the plant as an example of independent of the demand item, okay, that is not used by the customer directly. So independent, basically it's a demand for items used by the external customers. For example, cars, computers, houses are examples of independent demand of inventory. So inventory and quality management, we can say it complements each other generally. It is a interdependent on everything. So customers usually perceive quality as availability of goods when they want them. Okay, they should be readily available and they should be able to take it out. Inventory must be sufficient to provide the high quality customer service. So both is interrelated and both is equally important. So costs, inventory costs, so as I told beginning, inventory carrying cost is a cost of holding an item of inventory. That means it may be for 2 days, it may be for 2 weeks, it may be for 2 months, whatever the thing, by the time the material is being stored. So why a cost associated with that? For example, if I am keeping the item in my premises, then why the cost would be there? Why the cost is there? Because I am having a infrastructure for that to storing it, number one. And number two, I should have a manpower and other requirement details to maintain that. Maybe stock has to be maintained, it is clean has to maintain. In some cases, what happens, the security also come into place here in the carrying cost, because whether it is if it's an expensive item like copper, gold, etc. So next is ordering cost, the cost of replenishment of inventory. So why there is a cost associated with this, because we are having infrastructure like we have a computer and we have people to work on that. So there is a cost associated with this. So that's why we call this ordering cost. Shortage cost, the temporary permanent loss of sales when the demand cannot be met. For example, as I told you initially, when the inventory is not properly maintained at the optimum level, so what happens when a requirement comes, so we will not be able to, sufficient material not be there to convert the product. Or sometimes what will happen, there will be almost zero balance will be there where we cannot complete the activity. So both case what happens, there is a loss of sales for the organization. So then because of that, what happens, the company is not able to meet the demand of the customer. So inventory control system is having two parts, that is continuous system, another is periodic system. In continuous system, if you say the constant amount of order when inventory declines to the predetermined level. Okay, this is a continuous system which is required, or otherwise we call it as fixed order quantity. Okay, so that means standard order being maintained, maybe if it is 500, 1000, 1500 like that, and easy for to go for a continuous repeat order. So periodic system is another thing where it's a fixed time period, that is order placed for a variable amount after a fixed passage of time. That is, it's not a standard. It may be 500, 300, 800, 1000, like that. So objectives of the inventory is classified as two parts. That is, one is operative objectives, another financial objectives. So here, when you take operative objectives, as I told initially, the sufficient amount of material, raw material or spare parts should be available for the execution part, and there should not be any sort of ambiguity arises, that is shortage of material is there, because the conversion or the manufacturing activity becomes a standstill. So we cannot convert the raw material into a product, and we cannot meet the demand of the customer, and there could be a issue because of that. Now coming to financial objectives, what is the financial objective? It is a cost, because when I want to maintain an inventory, I have an infrastructure for that, like a stores department, or if I have warehouse department, or in warehouse department, if I am not having my own, then I have to keep the material in a rented warehouse. So I have to pay rent for that. So that is a rental cost. It is applicable here. And the third one is security. When it is a highly expensive item, I am bringing in a security there to safeguard my material. So each cost is also associated with it. And the fourth one is if it is a warehouse, it is a picking team and packing team. And if it is a in-house stores department, it is a storekeeper and it is a supporting team. So these are the costs which is associated with this in maintaining the the stock of that. So that's why it is to be balanced. If it should not be over quantity stockages, or it should not be under quantity shortage also. Both is very dangerous, because if it is over thing, then what will happen? Inventory cost will be going up higher, and your capital budgeting, I think, becomes a big issue for you. So these are the two things: operative and financial objectives. And what is the advantage of inventory? The basic thing is the delivery time. It is the finished goods can be of raw materials for the buyers. Reputation can get more customers. So once if you are losing your reputation, then regaining it at any cost is going to be a tough time, and particularly in today's situation. The possibility of discount on the bulk purchase is the biggest advantage. Efficient of handling of unforeseen circumstances, because today we are in a COVID situation, and where we are trying to manage this type of unforeseen circumstances. For that, there should be some adequate inventory or optimum level inventory. So no idling of workers and machinery. This is the key. The last one is the ultimate and very important thing, because if you are not going to maintain a sufficient inventory, okay, that means the optimal level of inventory. So then what will happen? The machine will not run. When the machine will not run, obviously there is a manpower associated with the machine, that is also become idle. So both the machineries and workers related to that particular machinery, they become idle. So what is the thing? The loss of time, a loss of production happens there. One thing, and second thing, the idling of the workers. Both happens thing is a resultant of that. So disadvantage of the inventory is the working capital is tied up. As he told that that is okay when you want to carry out the expenses for other some important activity, it not be possible, because most of the cost is getting piled up in the capital. So more space is required, because when you started piling up inventory more and more unnecessarily, then what will happen? More space is required. Why more space is required here? Because particularly the thing is sometime what happens, some unused material will be there for a very long time. So we have to take quicker action towards that. So increased overhead expenses like security personnel required for guard inventory if it's a high value items, then chances of damage, and the last one is increased chance of obsolescence. Obsolescence means further there is no demand or requirement for that, or there could be a design change in a particular product. Because of design change, the further that requirement will be less. Now coming to inventory control. So inventory carrying cost, already we have seen some about that. The cost of blocking the material for the inventory, the cost of the interest of the value of the item stored, the salaries of the personnel managing the various secondary personnel, rent for the space occupied by the inventories, and the cost involved in the insurance of the inventories. So understocking are the shortages, that is the optimal level if it is not maintained. We have backlocking, and second thing, the cancellation of orders. These two situations arises, and we should be very careful towards that. Now coming to analysis. The popular and very common thing we use is ABC analysis. So A is a high value item, C is a lowest value item or low value item, and B is a moderate value item. The process of classifying the items using the values as a measure. The process of exercising the selective control over the inventories. Here, the objectives of analysis is to have control of the items. One thing. The second thing is actually there's a thing is metal managers to exercise a selective control on the large number of items, because when you take a storeroom or warehouse, there is n number of items are there. So we should know that depends upon the value we classify as A, B and C, then we will know that what could be the approximate value of the thing. Apart from that, we have the actual value. Okay, expensive items are branded as A items, and it could be a 10%, and least expensive is as C, like bolts and nuts, it's a 70%. So the method basically it is all items to be used in the industry are identified, and items to be listed in the value. The number of high value items, medium value and low value items are counted. The concept is basically it is to see that the items are large or medium sized in organization, and classify the items according to their importance and need, not only limited to important, also need. So economic order quantity, its total cost is equal to the carrying cost plus the procurement cost. This is the formula for your thing, which you should not forget it. The replenishment system, basically it is a filling of the material. That is, once the material level, the stock level reduces, then we have to add further material. So that process is called as replenishment. The types is instantaneous replacement, that is immediate. Replacement at the constant rate, that is periodically, that may be the standard, it happens at the standard fixed quantities. Replenishment at the irregular rate, that means it depends upon need of the customer, changes from time to time, and accordingly it is done. So it's a regular rate of thing. Lead time, basically lead time is a time gap between the starting or initiating the process or ordering and receiving the quantity in the stores. Lead time includes the time taken to prepare the purchase requisition and placing the order, the time taken to deliver the purchase order to the vendor, it's the time taken to the vendor to the manufacturer, and taken from the transportation to the vendor's place. It's ultimately, that is what I think is, it is from the placing of the purchase requisition till the purchase is delivered to the vendor, and it can get the material to the stores. Lead time analysis it depends upon the urgency or the importance of the components in the manufacturing process, and also the reliability of the vendor. So sometimes what will happen, why we call about reliability of vendors is okay, if he is not having adequate raw material availability, that is inventory there, or if you don't have a requirement of manpower there, it depends in smaller vendors, you know that. So suddenly what will happen today, 5 people even absent, 10 people are absent. So depends upon then what will happen, that particular day the work may be slightly extended, or the work may not happen to that extent what it is being planned. So what will happen, the lead time generally goes higher. So to be kept optimized, then we have to make the vendor to understand that, and make to practice them, and give due importance for that particular lead time. The factor of uncertainty is the main reason for having a heavy stock in the particular case. Uncertainty of demand. So when the demand is of no thing, so then we may have to go for higher inventories, because if orders are not very clear, and suddenly it comes, we cannot manufacture because we don't have a time to convert particular raw material. Uncertainty of delivery, and next is uncertainty of quantity. So sometimes what will happen, demand is also there. Based on the demand, sometimes people give 1,000 pieces, some people give 10 pieces also. Both the things happen. So we have to be understand about this type of uncertainty, and we should be prepared for it. So disposal of obsolete items, the obsolete material, basically materials of the equipment which is not damaged, it's in a good condition, but still which are economical but no longer useful for the company's operation due to the change in the production line. One case, or change, or it could be the design change by the customer. So there are various reasons for that. This material becoming obsolete, and it should be properly, it has to be disposed. Otherwise, what will happen? It sits as a further inventory because of the obsolescence, and it also carry a cost associated with that, which will be paying unnecessarily. So material handling, basically it is physical objects moving of parts, components, sub assemblies, raw materials or the finished goods for ready for the shipment. So different as a function of dealing with the preparation, placing and positioning of the material to facilitate the movement or storage. The moving of materials from the raw material store to the through the production of the ultimate to the customer. So the thing is, every part of activity starting from the raw material then as a component, when further it moves to further processing, and each stages it is requires to be handled. And very important thing is, it has to be handled in a very proper way and with the material handling equipment for the safety of the people as well as safety of the material. The silent principles of material handling, basically it is a planning principle, then it's a system principle where the planning system is getting integrated to the handling activities, and the material flow principle where the plan on operation sequence and equipment arrangement in the optimizing the material flow, simplification of the principle. Stock verification, it's very important. Handle physical verification stock, but very important thing is today monthly if it is done, it is much better possibly. So a verification officer usually or a team verifies the stock in the stores or in the warehouse in once in a year to check relevant documents. That means how much of material come inside in particular item code and other thing, how much being issued to for production, and how much thing is being converted as a product, and what was what is scrap material or leftover material. So it should get correlated. For example, if I am getting 100 kgs of raw material, then when I am converting as a product close to some around 90 kgs, then what about the 10 kgs of material? So either the 10 kgs will be in the form of 5 kgs could be as a semi-finished goods, and rest of 5 kgs could be already dispatched, stored in the material or dispatched something. So when we get into this, then it will be very easy for us to understand that what are the metals incoming, what are the metals outgoing, what is the metal being consumed, and what is the left out. So these are documents used for this bin cards, stored ledgers, etc. After verification, a list of consisting of shortages, damages, surplus. What are the things, even though when you are doing manually also, there was an issue, and today when you are using ERP and SAP, still also when you go for the physical verification, there is always ambiguity raised. The ambiguity is raised, one reason which I feel is because sometimes people are not very clear that they have to do an entry immediately once the intent comes or once a shipment of material goes. Sometimes what will happen, there is a miss-out of the thing also. Suppose what happens, they receive the intent and they will keep it aside and they say that once my job is over, I will take it and I will do the necessary things. But what happens, they may forget this, or they may forget, or they may miss out the slip also. So these are some reasons where that issues happens at the end of the year. So perpetual inventory control, basically it is a continuous check throughout the year in which in such a way that each item is checked at least once in a year. That is the thing. And a method of recording the store's balances after every receipt and issue to facilitate a regular checking and to obviate closing of the stock taking. So priority given to A items, then B, and release to the C. That is, A is a high expensive items. So records, it's basically it is a bin card and a store ledger. And what is a bin card is basically the material used for recording the material on time, what are things being incoming and outgoing to make a record of it. What is the advantage of this record? The thing is, first thing is efficiency of economy, settlements of disputes with the credits or debits and insurance. Particularly when, say, for example, when there is some unforeseen things happens, some accidents happens or fire accident happens, in whatever the case, when you want to claim for the insurance, so we should have a proper record maintained, because when the insurance people ask about what is your income, what is the incoming pattern, what you get generally, that he may ask, or in the particular month or particular day which is being there, what is the current standing point, or what is the current level of materials which was there in the stock and which was there given for which was there in the pipeline and which was there ready for dispatches. So this type of things is very much required to keep the record, because when you want to go for such cases, you need some clarity on the details to give the insurance. Otherwise, insurance may not accept. Okay, check against understocking and overstocking. So the thing is, when you are doing regularly thing is, we know that when there is going out of stock or whether sometime we're going overstocking. Okay, under stock is there, okay, I can just bring procure some material and keep do a replenishment activity and do safeguard it. But when I'm doing a overstocking, what happens? Immediately I should take control of it, because it's having an inventory carrying cost associated with that. Let us not forget that. So that cost should be kept at the bare minimum, and we should see an alternative to see that how best we can go and complete this activity. Okay. So thank you for the patient listening. So we'll meet you in another video with another suitable topic. Thank you. Bye then.